That's right, everybody. From the April Fool's video, and from, I'm pretty sure, every single Pokemon game, the secondary to Pikachu's popularity is Eevee. So what's unique about Eevee is that instead of only having one moveset, you'll actually have 4 different movesets. Eevee, Flareon, Jolteon, Vaporeon. The only thing that's the exact same about them are their throws, dash attack, and their final smash. For Eevee's neutral special, it'll be Swift, which I'm not sure exactly what the move is supposed to be in the game, but it shows it as throwing stars, so that's how we'll have it appear here. This attack will go pretty fast, but won't go very far across the stage. For Eevee's side special, it'll be Quick Attack, which will make her dash semi-fast to whichever side you're holding, and will do damage with the head only. Similar to Banjo's side B, but not as knockback heavy, mostly just damage and quick damage at that. Now you're probably going to be wondering why this is Eevee's up special and isn't a recovery, but that's because the side B can actually be directed into any direction. But this is Eevee's up B, Growl. It won't do any knockback, but it will stun the enemy and does a little bit of damage. So for Eevee's down special, you'll be able to change your neutral special from Swift to Ember to Thunder Wave to Hydro Pump. We'll get into what those do later, but for right now, all you need to know is that depending on which one you have selected will change to which character Eevee will evolve into. The way evolution will work for Eevee is that if 50% damage or more is done to an opponent by an Eevee, the next time they use down B, they will transform and evolve into whichever of the other evolutions they had selected before doing the down B. This means that if you want to stay Eevee, you can't be changing your special that much. Flareon is our first of the evolutions, and we'll be able to use Ember. Ember will be a quite fast-moving projectile, one of the only fast moves Flareon will have, and will move pretty far across the screen, about double the length of Swift, and will be about the same speed as Swift. If you hit, it will have a 25% chance of burning the opponent, and the burn will act like the Piranha Plant's poison, damaging them every few seconds for a couple of seconds. Flareon's side B will be Flare Blitz, and will act pretty similarly to Quick Attack, but will be quite a bit slower and do a lot more damage. Flareon's up special will be Fire Spin, sending Flareon slightly into the air, probably about 2 jumps worth of height, and will do a lot of damage and will carry the opponent, sort of like Samus's up B, in that it will capture the opponent within the move, sort of like that and Mario's up B. If you haven't noticed up until this point, Flareon is much stronger than Eevee, however, is quite a bit slower. For Flareon's down special, there of course is no other moves for him to change into, so he'll have Hyper Beam, which will have a very, very long startup, but once it does get off the ground and fires, it will do quite a bit of damage and has quite a bit of range, almost an entire battlefield's worth of range. Not quite though. Jolteon's neutral special is Thunder Wave, which can give the opponent confusion 25% of the time. The confusion manifests by making the opponent's directional inputs, so left, right, up, and down, confused and not exactly what they want. So up can be right, left can be down, so on, however many combinations there are. For Jolteon's side special, it will be Thunder, in which he'll basically just do the quick attack, but with a thunder effect around it. However, it's a lot faster and goes a little bit further, but not a whole lot. Jolteon's up B will be a teleport-like move that will summon a lightning storm cloud, and the bolt of lightning, if it hits, meaning you'll have to be pretty much stationary in the Y direction, will teleport you to the top, allowing you to jump once before exiting the cloud. The down B for Jolteon will basically just be the neutral B for Pikachu and Pichu. That's it. It's basically just the exact same thing. It will bounce along the ground, and if you're on a platform, it will go up under the platform. Also, if you haven't noticed, Jolteon is the fast but less hard-hitting one out of the 4. Vaporeon's neutral special is Hydro Pump, which works very similarly to Squirtle's neutral special and Mario's down special in that it is a burst of water. However, you do not have to charge up Hydro Pump, and you can just lay it out whenever you want. The downside to this, however, is it doesn't go as far in terms of the water's range, but it does push back quite a bit more. For Vaporeon's side special, it will be a special form of Surf that instead of going up like Squirtle's, will go sideways and push opponents far away. There will be a slight gravity towards the front of the move, so if opponents are caught somewhere in the middle, it will push them to the front. This move can help push opponents off the stage completely, if, you're a jerk. Vaporeon's down special takes inspiration from Lucas because it allows Vaporeon to freeze the opponent, much like Ice Climber or, like I said, Lucas. And it lets you set up combos pretty easily. For the final special of this very long list is Vaporeon's up special, Water Gun. Water Gun will allow Vaporeon to shoot upward similarly to Lucario or Greninja, and will give Vaporeon quite a bit of control in the air. Opponents will obviously be pushed back by this move as well. And if you haven't noticed yet, again, this one is not really one of the speed or power dynamics. It's actually one that is a get off me character. So if that's your playstyle, go right ahead. All of the jabs are the exact same, so I will only be showing Eevees. Just imagine them with fire, water, and electric effects. But there will be 2 swipes and then a headbutt that will do more knockback if it is Vaporeon, less damage if it is Jolteon, but it'll be faster, and way more damage, but it'll be a little bit slower if it's Flareon. For Eevee's forward tilt, it will be Bite, which is a dark type move, shown off here in Eevee. It'll do quite a bit of knockback, just like most other forward tilts, and a little bit of damage. For Eevee's down tilt, it will be a downward swipe, sort of like a sweep the legs move. This will knock the opponent in the air slightly and trip them, giving you room to do, down tilt attacks forever and ever. For Eevee's up tilt will be tail attack, swishing its tail back and forth, dealing a little bit of damage and a little bit of knockback. Flareon's forward tilt will be Flame Bite, which will have pretty much the exact same animation as the normal bite. However, it will do quite a bit more damage and just a little bit more knockback, but will be a little slower to compensate. Flareon's down tilt is also a swipe, but this one will have slightly different properties. It will do a lot more damage and a little bit more knockback. However, this will set him up for a little bit less in terms of combos, making him maybe a little worse for that. Flareon's up tilt will have a lot more damage and just a tad bit more knockback, so he's not the best for knockback, that's Vaporeon, but it will do quite a bit more damage compared to Eevee. But all of these attacks are just slightly slower, making him maybe not the best pick. Jolteon's forward tilt is Electric Shock, which has pretty much the exact same animation as every other forward tilt. However, it is a lot faster, but as a side effect, is nowhere near as strong or as knockback heavy. Now, in terms of combo starters, Jolteon's down tilt is probably the best because it does virtually no knockback and is over and done with in the least amount of time, setting you up for combos pretty quickly. Jolteon's up tilt, however, is probably one of the worst because it does virtually no knockback and is pretty over and done with quickly. So there is a little bit of time to set up a combo, but not enough to really matter because the opponent will be up in the air and not behind you or in front of you. So unless you got a good combo, good luck. For Vaporeon's forward tilt, it will have almost infinite knockback, not really, but it will have a whole lot more knockback than any of the others. However, will do almost no damage. This is basically Hydro Pump, but with damage and virtually zero, and I'm talking no range. It doesn't push as far. This is probably the worst down tilt out of all of them. However, it's okay because it's a whole lot of knockback. The downward swipe for Vaporeon. This up tilt is probably the best for this character because it does so much pushback that you can probably instantly kill someone in about 50 to 60 to 70%, depending on how heavy they are. Eevee's neutral air is Sand Attack, which does just sort of an area damage on whoever is in the range. This move comes out pretty fast, so you might want to watch out and not be near this Eevee while they're in the air. Eevee's forward air is a Vine Whip, which, of course, is a reference to Leafeon. And yeah, it swings from top to bottom, and it doesn't stop straight out. It actually goes all the way through to below them as well. This could meteor, but it has to hit the very, very tip of the whip. Eevee's back air will be a kick backwards. It won't have a whole lot of range. None of Eevee's aerials will. However, it will do quite a bit of knockback, so don't get hit. Now, this is the only one that's a little far-fetched, because it really only works if you base it entirely off of what the move looks like in-game. This is Babydoll Eyes, which is a move Eevee can learn and has to learn if they're going to turn into Sylveon. This will do a little bit of damage above Eevee and almost no knockback, mostly just a little bit of damage. However, this can also confuse the opponent, so you can use this instead of Thunder Wave. However, it has a much less percentage of it happening at 10% instead of 25%. Eevee's down air will be a belly flop move that can meteor, but most likely won't. It's pretty random if it will, at 5%. However, with Flareon, this raises. Flareon's neutral air is Explode. This will do a little bit of damage to Flareon, and by a little bit I mean about 10%. However, it will do a lot of damage to anyone in the radius. Flareon's forward air is exactly like Vine Whip, except for it's a Flame Whip. This will do a lot more damage, but will be a lot slower. So, good luck. For Flareon's back air, he will be able to do a Flame Kick, which, again, just does more damage and takes longer to release. Now, I know this up air looks exactly the same as the last one, but fire, and that's just because the hitbox has to be the same. It's not eyes, it's just fire. It will do a lot more damage and quite a bit more knockback, because if you remember, the other one doesn't do much of any. The down air is, of course, a belly flop, and will have a much higher chance of meteoring at about 75%, so it's not guaranteed, but it might as well be. Jolteon's neutral air is Thunder Wave, which will have a very, very, very small 5% chance of confusing them. And I'm using confuse here. It's actually technically based on paralysis, but I thought stopping the opponent completely for a few seconds was a little much. Seeing that, that's sort of what Vaporeon's thing is for. Jolteon's forward air will be a Thunder Whip, which will go extremely fast, especially compared to Eevee's, and especially compared to Flareon's. So, yeah. Jolteon's back air will release extremely fast, but will do not a lot of damage or knockback, but is, like I said, very fast. So, if you know someone's going to be in that area, you can do it immediately. The up air is again a Babydoll Eyes reskin, and just kind of is faster and less strong, you know? Jolteon stuff. This is belly flop just like the other two. However, instead of just being faster and less hard hitting, it also has a 0% chance of getting a meteor. So you can guarantee that you might be able to combo out of it, but you won't be getting a meteor, so you don't have to worry about maybe missing that. Vaporeon's neutral air is Whirlpool, which does the exact opposite of all the other ones, and instead of having knockback, it actually pulls them inward, allowing you to do other combos and maybe setting something up. This Water Whip is Vaporeon's forward air, and it does a lot of downward knockback. So this is more of a meteor than the down air. Vaporeon's back air actually has quite a bit of knockback and might be a really good kill move in the 40s to 50% range. Vaporeon's up air will also have a lot of knockback. Pretty much all of Vaporeon's aerials will have some form of kill power. Yeah. Because of the way this down air works, this will actually push Vaporeon down while pushing the opponent up. So it effectively works more as a up air, but it does push Vaporeon down. For Eevee's forward smash, she'll turn around and kick the opponent with a double kick. Eevee's up smash will have her whip her tail from bottom to top, launching the opponents upward. Eevee's down smash is a belly flop, which will do damage mostly in front of her, but in the middle of her as well. Flareon's forward smash is also a double kick, where she'll turn around and kick with a little bit more force and maybe a tad bit more knockback. The up air for Flareon is a flaming tail whip, similar to Eevee's, but, you know, more damage. Down smash for Flareon is the exact same as Eevee's, but does quite a bit more damage and knockback. Is on fire. In terms of smash attacks, Jolteon definitely has the weakest, however, can gain the power faster than the others. Like how you hold the smash attack to make it do more damage, you can do that here, and it takes less time for Jolteons to do it. The same with his up special. However, Jolteon doesn't have a tail, so lightning just kind of sparkles in the air where his tail should be. Same again here, and this smash does almost no damage. For this forward smash, Vaporeon will actually send the opponent upward slightly at an angle, so you don't have the best possibility of getting a confirmed kill out of this, but it's still better than the other three. Vaporeon's up smash will send the opponent forward slightly, so it can be a combo starter if you don't do a lot of knockback, but it's Vaporeon we're talking about. A lot of knockback here. Vaporeon's down smash is actually very useful towards edges because it will send the water down at an angle to the right or left, depending on which side you use it on. and can actually send the water all the way to the blast zone. The throws will also only be shown by Eevee because they're the exact same, except for the knockback and the little bit of damage. But for the forward throw, Eevee will headbutt the opponent and send them flying. The up throw, Eevee will jump under the opponent and bump them up with her back. For the back throw, Eevee will throw the opponent with her mouth backwards behind her. For the down throw, Eevee will headbutt the opponent into the ground, which will bounce them up into the air. For the Kirby Hats, he'll have one for each of the different evolutions. Eevee, Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon. And of course, you'll have a different neutral depending on which one you have. If your neutral B is Swift, then Kirby will obtain the Eevee hat. If it's Ember, then it will be Flareon, Thunderwave, Jolteon, Hydro Pump, Vaporeon. Eevee's costumes reference many things from across the series, but of course, the first one is normal Eevee. The second one is Eevee Shiny. The third one is the original black and white sprite. The fourth one is just a red Flareon alt with a blue hat. The fifth one is Leafeon. The sixth one is meant to be Umbreon. The seventh one is meant to be Sylveon. And the last one is meant to be Jolteon. The Flareon alts also reference Flareon and other evolutions. The first one is original Flareon. The second one is its shiny. The third one is the original black and white sprite. The fourth one is the blue hat that I made up out of nowhere. The fifth one is Glaceon. The sixth one is Sylveon. The seventh one is red. The eighth one is again Leafeon. Jolteon's alts are based on Jolteon, the shiny, the original black and white sprite, that beanie that I really like, Umbreon, Haunter, the one bird from Legends Arceus that I can't remember the name of for some reason and couldn't find it online. And the last one is Shiny Glaceon. And lastly, Vaporeon is based on Vaporeon, Shiny Vaporeon, the original black and white Vaporeon, a Jolteon and a beanie, Glaceon, Leafeon, Umbreon, and a shiny Sylveon. So for the final smash, Eevee, or whichever of the evolutions you've picked, will summon all the other evolutions, including the 4 from the actual moveset. They will all blast their own energy and destroy everything in their path. For the 8 DLC spirits that I came up with for this, we would have Gigantamax Eevee as the Omega spirit. We would have Team Rocket. We would have Pokemon Trainer, basically just blue though. Shiny Sylveon, Shiny Espeon, Shiny Umbreon, Shiny Leafeon, Shiny Glaceon, and if in fact we had one extra slot, I would probably get rid of Team Rocket and the Pokemon Trainer and make those 2 slots plus the 1 extra shiny versions of the other 3 that are in this moveset, not including Eevee though, because we got Gigantamax Eevee. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched this far, you deserve something special. So go down in the comments and have your opinion heard. Scorpion or Waluigi?